pick Yamaha guitars.
That's right.
And
what'd you get for that?
It got stolen. Actually,
it was part of that.
I brought it to a gig and someone ripped it off. It wasn't part of the San Francisco robbery. It was. It was stolen somewhere in Hoboken.
Of course,
at some club.
Yeah, I think you're right. Or it was like the Continental or something like that.
I had never even played it. Like
that new, it got ripped. And what is this about the San Francisco robbery? I never heard of this story.
When we were in San Francisco, we were going to stay at Ray's place, Ray Wilcox's place. And we decided to park the Dodge Caravan minivan, that had all of our gear in it.
Oh, no.
On the street corner, like right outside Ray's apartment, which was in the Mission District.
Safe neighborhood. It'll be safe. It'll be
totally safe neighborhood. But I fortunately pulled my guitar out of there.
Yeah.
But the other guys left their guitars and we had all the amps in there and everything. And someone smashed the window and stole Mike's 74 Telly.
It was Tom Greeny's.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a beautiful guitar. That guitar
was that on loan from Tom Graney?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But Mike bought him a Hondo guitar to replace it.
Incomparable guitar at the time.
That was a Telly, huh? What happened to Mike's SG?
I don't know.
Early on, wasn't he playing an SG?
Yeah, he had an SG. Did he trade Tom for that Telly? Trade him the SG?
When you told the story and you said it was the Telly that got ripped off, in my head I'm thinking it was the SG.
No, he was playing a Telly then.
Yeah.
And Santoro had his bass stolen too, which was I think it was a precision bass.
Oh man! And you had a gig the next day, or that?
We had a gig in San Francisco the next day.
Ray
opening
fronted
for Primus.
The Precision.
Ray had the bass.
You had a gig opening up for Primus?
Yeah. We opened for Primus.
Are you on the road with these guys, John?
I would go to Chicago. This was the big. I literally sent them out on the road for 6 weeks, and they were never booked more than 2 weeks in advance. So they would it would be they're in Miami and I'm booking LA, and then they're in LA and I'm booking Bozeman, Montana. It's just like.
I want to hear the rest of this story. How did you guys play this gig?
I think I had a spare guitar with me, so Mike was able to play my spare. I think maybe I had an extra Stratocaster with me. And then Santoro had the bass from Ray, I believe. And then as from San Francisco, we were going to Seattle, and Mike's brother lived up around there and gave him an Ibanez bass to use for the rest of the tour. And then Mike played my Stratocaster the rest of the tour.
What about amps and drums?
They didn't move fast enough to steal those.
Oh, okay.
So we were good with that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brutal.
I'm trying to think the known entities that you opened for. I remember it was the Dead Milkman in Miami.
Yeah.
It was Primus in San Francisco. What did you open for Royal Crescent Mob in Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to
Metro, right?
They were nice over there, and I thought there was a good gig at First Avenue too. Or did you guys play you guys played the small room there, the 3rd Street entry?
Yeah, I don't remember First Avenue.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So it was great. There was a good, map. I had stolen all of the tour guides for the SST punk band, so I had all the phone numbers and stuff like that.
Nice move, John.
So I knew all those venues, and in some cases,
all the contacts.
The writers were there or whatever. So so there was, but those are the shows that didn't make any money. The only shows that made money were it was I don't remember how the famous Bozeman, Montana show at the University of Montana. Yeah. Where
that show was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
When we showed up, we rolled into town, and it was in a bar that had some multiple pool tables in it, I think, and they had a small stage in the corner. And when we came out to play that night, the place was like sold out. And the crowd knew all the words to all the songs.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So your record was songs were being played on the college station?
Yeah. Heavy rotation.
That's what I would mail the record, in advance of the show, and the either the booker or they would go to the radio station, and some people had better connections, and so like the local paper would, at least there would be a mention in a little paragraph. They would quote some of the bullshit I had sent. So yeah.
What size venue are we talking about? Like 250 people or like 1,000 people?
No, 200 max, I would say.
But still, like in
Bozeman,
probably
on 150.
Yeah.
But to be that far outside of wheelhouse,
we played that place, the Metro in Washington, right? Like
the 930 Club.
No, this is the Metro in Chicago, which is a big.
You're right.
Ballroom.
What was that place in Washington D.C. that we played with Gearhead?
Black Cat.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Black Cat or the 930.
No,
DC
had to be.
It was it had a big balcony. It was like, it might have been the biggest place that I think that I might have ever played.
Was it the Worcest Radio Hall, WUST? It's a big ballroom. The government issue would play there all the time. I saw a lot of the.
Do you remember that show, Paul? Like,
I remember the show.
It was a big stage, and I was like, and there was a lot of room for us, and you're like, oh shit, what are we going to do out here? This is huge.
But we were all pissed off and surly when we were there too, right?
Because you were in Gearhead.
Well, why do you remember being surly that night? I don't know.
It had something to do either with the band or the guys in the club or something. They were giving us a hard time about something. So that set everything off.
Always like we had our own PA that we travel around with, and that was always like sound man would just freaky deaky about that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just remember that being one of the bigger places, and I thought that you guys were talking about Chicago. Never mind.
The Chicago, was it Cabaret Metro, John, or just Metro?
Just I think it was Cabaret Metro. Yeah.
That was a big club.
Like that's like the place that like the Smashing Pumpkins came out of.
Sure, I think that the Metro,
yeah. And that was the first place like we'd ever been where we pulled up out front, and like these people came running out and took our equipment out of the van and brought it inside. Stage hands.
Wow.
Backstage there was dinner for us.
Yeah.
John.
Buckets of beer. We were like, we'll be back.
And the band played there multiple times. We would drive. That's where there was that show, and then there was also like I want to say like a show at Northwestern around the same time too, and that was the infamous Cindy, what's her name? Cindy Crawford meeting.
I've seen that picture. Yeah,
right. Yep.
The 5 elves.
That's right.
If I might, I will say, like, Maxwell's was always great about that too. They would feed you, they would give you a bunch of beer and stuff like that. And that Maxwell's in Hoboken,
Middle
fabulous
East
for that. The Middle East, Cambridge, another spot, right? Or Alston, right? Where
I think it's Cambridge,
Another spot. You're right, Paul. Totally took care of you, and you totally appreciated that when you're on the road. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love it though. We'll be back. Right?
I was in Philadelphia last weekend, and JC Dobbs is still there.
Is it?
Yeah, I was surprised. There was I'm trying to remember the other. There was like 2 places in Philly.
You're right.
There was another cabaret place too. It was Khyber Pass.
Khyber Pass is still there.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Khyber Pass is still there too.
Yeah. It's because it's a restaurant.
Serving all your Afghanistan kebabs, and
it's a steakhouse.
It's a Middle Eastern steakhouse.
It's right on the margins of your dad's jurisdiction, Tony.
Right.
Like, out there, but he had guys.
Are they slicing the meat off the log? That's what I want to know. Then we're in there. It counts. That was on a street though that there was like, you know, a trendy street.
Everything was on that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Record shops, comic books.
Yeah, it's on like Second or something like that. I literally was that like a block away at this like, you know, bar that's been there for like literally 150 years.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, is that place still there? And I'm like, holy shit, the Khyber Pass is there.
Oh, wow. I wonder.
Everything is out there, right? I mean, you can go out and get like down the street is the Philly cheesesteak place. You know, like
yeah.
What's the name of the bigger venue in Philly? Isn't that another cabaret name?
The TLA, the Theater of the Living Arts. The TLA is like the bigger room. There's another like sort of.
There wasn't back in the day though. There wasn't.
Well, that place has been there forever.
That place was there.
Yeah. But that's more like 1,000. That's more like an Irving Plaza kind of place.
Remember, I'll describe to you guys one of our gigs when our bookings would fall through on occasion. So we were, after we played our Miami show, we were down in Florida, and Steve's parents had a condominium. I forget where it was, but we stayed in that condo for a couple of days near the beach. And we were trying to book gigs, and we booked this gig at Night Owls. And so we went to play at Night Owls.
This is in Miami.
This is
outside
it's just outside of Miami.
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Boca Vista.
Yeah, I can't remember, but we show up there, and it's like one of those places where there's a round bar and there's a stage in the back, and the music that's playing is like Kenny Rogers, and you know, so like
the Fern Bar.
We immediately knew that it was not a good spot for us, but you know, we were getting paid. So we went in and we set up on the stage in the back, and they had no PA. So we had to sing through the like overhead Muzak speaker system. So, and Mike's voice through the overhead Muzak speaker system, when you're like on the other side of the room, not really hearing the band, just hearing Mike's voice. I'm sure that the patrons were not happy. They did not like us. And we tried to pull out like whatever country like songs that we had to play. I think we did Lay Lady Lay. Did I don't know, but like they hated us. And like we banged it up after like a half hour, and the owner was like, "Yeah, you guys, you can just leave."
It'd be best for all of us.
Yeah.
And that was
we're the good old boys.
That's right. That's the last time they took unsolicited gigs. You know,
that's right.
Yeah, that
right.
I remember rolling into Iowa City, and the play like, oh yeah, forgot that you guys were playing. Like,
yes. Here's $25.
Yeah.
Go away.
Move on.
Who was playing?
Private.
Who was on the bill then?
I don't know.
It was nobody, but the
local.
Like, yeah, it was local, whatever. But it was. I was trying to get a gig there because it was the place for that band. I don't know if you know that band, House of Large Sizes, where we're kind of this 3-piece from Iowa City. And it was like, I'm like, oh, okay, this would be the cool place to play. And the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, and we book it and literally show up, and it's like there is no sign of the Selves playing there. Like, oh, I forgot.
I forgot. Yeah, that was a line that we used for a very long time after that, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds like, oh, that's good.
I forgot.
But so Paul's definitely been through the grind out there or whatever. But like, so after sort of the Selves kind of became part-time, like, was there any other, like, I've never asked you, so was there any other, like, is there any other music you're going to pursue or whatever? I mean, you could literally have walked into another band, but I don't think you.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Selves, I was in the Selves for 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Long time. We played like together a long time. We gave it a good go.
Mm-hmm.
What decided that, like, yeah, I think, you know, when did you realize the road was over and it was not gonna pan out
with the Selves?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we had gone through like we tried out like a rapper to be in the band at one point, and we thought about, Mike really like wanted to get a different singer at one point, which we all kind of like voted down and didn't want to do, and so we kind of had felt like we had tried everything, right, John? We had that